Hi, I'm Rebecca Bidwell. I'm a director of Bidwell Henderson, and we're now going to be talking to Chelsea Allcock, who started in the business as a business administration apprentice. So, hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your progress in the company?
Yes, so I started as an apprentice in October 2017. So I've been with the company now 3 years and 3 or 4 months. So I started doing the business admin apprenticeship, and I did that for 12 months. So I was mainly in admin doing that sort of work. But while I was doing that, I also sort of moved in to help Rebecca with marketing. And then after my apprenticeship finished, I moved into that department full time. And then from there, I've just worked my way up, and now me and Beck run the department together.
Amazing. Okay. And are you a big fan of apprenticeships? Is it something that you'd recommend to others?
Yes. So what I did is I did my A-levels. I did law, sociology and psychology, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do at university, as many students don't sometimes. So I took another approach, which was go to work and get a qualification at the same time. And that was the best decision that I probably ever have done, just because you get the experience of working in an office as well as gaining all of the extra abilities that go with the qualification.
That's really good to hear. I was an apprentice as well, and I'm so keen to support apprentices in the business, because I wouldn't have got to the point in my career where I'm at now if it hadn't have been for those initial year or so as an apprentice. So could you tell us a little bit about how the apprenticeship worked for you, Chelsea, and what was involved and what it kind of looks like now?
Yes, so I do know that the apprenticeship scheme has changed since I completed it, but I oversee our new apprentices scheme, so I do know the changes. But what I had to do was, there was sort of 3 main things that you had to do. Was some of them was research, then you had to write assignments, and then also you had to evidence things that you were doing, like in your workplace. So what I would do is I would put some time aside in my work week to write up the tasks that I have been doing, and then either write up the assignments or evidence what I needed to, and that was all given to me in work time as well. But it was more about juggling what you had work-wise as well as the apprenticeship. So sometimes I would say put 2 hours to the side on a Friday to do my apprenticeship work. But if, say, it was the last day of the month, which is sometimes our busiest in admin, then I would have to do that. But then I would also move the time around. But it's just about prioritising your workload.
That's really handy. Do you know how long it is you need to kind of spend on your apprenticeship, roughly? I think is there a set amount of time?
So it's 20% of your working week. So for the 5 days you work, it's a day on your apprenticeship work.
And did you have to do anything other than kind of remote learning in the office for that? Did you?
So everything for us, luckily, is remote learning. So everything's done on a system called OneFile, but that might be changing.
Brilliant. Okay, so you didn't have to sort of take any trips out. I think, did your tutor came in a couple of times to?
Yes. So the tutor. Yeah. So the tutor does come in and do regular assessments with you. Obviously, with COVID, that has changed slightly. So now they're all virtual assessments. But when things are back to normal, they do come in every 3 months, but have regular updates about every month.
That's brilliant. Okay. So what would you say was the best part of the apprenticeship for you?
So the best part, well, it was more of the fact that I got to work alongside as gaining the qualification. That was the best part for me.
That sounds really good, because you were learning, and the great thing is you progressed really quickly, because you're a hardworking individual. So you ended up moving into different departments and progressing in your skills alongside it. Do you think that being able to do that quite quickly helped you with your apprenticeship work?
Yes, because I was taking on more tasks in work, it was more evidence to put in the file rather than just doing the one task that I got set and then just not being given any more.
So Chelsea, what's really great is you are in the recruitment department of the business now, which is lovely to see from my point of view, because you are now in control of considering applications for new apprentices, and then the apprentices that make it through the programme are then supervised by you. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for when you consider CVs?
There are a couple of things I look at. So the detail is one thing that I look at. So if a CV hasn't got much detail, or if they have simply just put they have worked at such and such just for that long, but they haven't actually put the job description. Job descriptions do matter. And I also look for grammatical errors or anything like that, because I think if you are sending that to your new employer, then you want it to be the best that you can be. And also, if you haven't attached a covering letter, then you may not even be put forward to the next stage.
Yeah. I can completely understand that, and we've made it part of the process, haven't we, to make sure that people send CV and covering letter together. So that's definitely a really good tip there. If anyone's watching who's interested in applying for the apprenticeship, make sure you put covering letter in, and make sure that you've double checked that there are no typographical errors or spelling mistakes or any kind of issues in both of those two documents. That's brilliant. Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about the apprentices that you have supervised? Because you've got one successfully through the programme now, and you're just working with your second apprentice. It'd be really nice to hear how that's working. So
the first apprenticeship that I supervised was Roman. So all the way through his apprenticeship, he could ask me any questions, and I fully supported him through the programme. Because I'd done it myself, he could ask me questions and I could relate to them, rather than, say, be a supervisor who hasn't done the apprenticeship work before. And that's what I do plan on doing for all future apprentices, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think that's been a big positive for the people that have come through. So could you tell us a little bit about what your job involves now and the kind of things that you do on a regular basis, just to give an indication of the level that you're now working at within a 3-year period?
Yeah, so I work closely with yourself, and we do all marketing and recruitment. So quite regularly, I have to use something called Canva to create all our social media posts, and then schedule them and see if any need boosting. If they are relating to recruitment, mostly they need boosting. But now we're also doing a training program, and I've researched into that. There's quite a few things that I do on the regular, but it is also about the tasks that just come in that need doing there and then.
So Chelsea, could you tell us a little bit about the process and what happens once we've had CVs and covering letters in from potential apprentices? What happens next?
Yes, so what I do is I collate them all, and then I send an email with some dates on. These dates are for a half-a-day trial day, but it can be done virtually due to the circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.